and two spirits came to see me, and they were side by side, and then geometry in the middle, and then geometry on the outside, and then it was just shoulders and heads. And it's like these two spirits had came to me and were shoulders and heads to make me feel comfortable there, and just said, welcome, you've begun your spiritual journey. And it was like, I still remember it really clearly.
Yeah, right.
And then I came back to, and I remember there was two surgeons holding my leg, and two surgeons pulling on the bottom of my leg trying to snap it back into place.
Welcome, Jake Stone.
Thank you.
So I want to get to, we had Callan on the other day, I want to get to where Corrective Culture's at now, but I'd like to hear your journey on how you went with bodyboarding, why that ended, and how it got you into where you are today.
Yeah, cool. All right, so I had I was a pro bodyboarder for a number of years. Started when I was 12 and was pro. I had my first pro model by 16, so I was making money from that. And I loved it. I also felt a massive calling to something else in life when I was around 19, which is funny. That's when my back injury happened. So I was in Hawaii, and my back was getting a little bit gradually sorer. And then I went to Hawaii, and I was over there, and it was started to get worse and worse and worse, like to the point where I was like debilitating, and I was hiding it from everyone. So anyway, that was the first year. Came home, surfed all year, kind of hit it. Realized that it was getting worse and worse and worse. I was trying to do yoga and all sorts of stuff to help get it better. Nothing really helped it at all. And then I went back to Hawaii the year after, and I met with a mentor of mine called Mike Stewart, who's a professional bodyboarder and a waterman. I think he's like 15 or 16 times body surfing world champion, or maybe more. And he's I think like 11 times bodyboard world champion. So body surf and bodyboard. So he's just an amazing waterman. But I noticed in him when he was 38, he went and saw a guy called Paul Check. And I noticed he just lost a bunch of weight, and he looked great, and he started moving really good, and he was stretching every morning, and I was like, fuck, what's he up to? So I asked him about that, and he said, oh, you've got to, I can have a look at your pelvis. And he had a little look at my pelvis. He's like, yeah, didn't say too much, but he's like, have a look in Australia for a Czech practitioner. So his wife was a Czech practitioner, Lisa, and I'm pretty sure she is. So she was like, oh, there's a guy called Donald Carr in Australia. He's a Czech level 4. So I was like, I tried everything else. I tried physios. I tried osteos, chiros. You name it, I tried it. Like I was looking everywhere, and it just seemed so helpless. Like on YouTube, it was very much like there's nothing on my injury. What was your injury? So after a long diagnosis process, it was a spondylolisthesis L5S1. Which is just an anterior slippage of the L5 off the sacrum. So
in layman's terms,
so the L5 vertebra, is kind of, because the core's not working in a bunch of other things, it slides forward. Yeah, right. So I was getting the distribution of the spine should be distributed through all of the vertebra, not just one, which was my L5S1. So if you look at bodyboarding, you're in hyperextension. And that's how you look good when you're bodyboarding. But if you're not using your whole spine, you are hinging off that one vertebrae. So I was hinging off the L5S1 vertebrae, and that was pushing and jamming forward. So it was putting pressure on my spinal cord and on the sciatic nerve, which was shooting down into my feet. So, God, if I had it's so easy to fix. Like if I had known now, it'd be a lot different. But so I I called Donald when I go back to Australia. And I thought I'd tried everything, and then Donald was like, "Oh, spondylolisthesis, yeah, that's not too hard. Like, come down and see me." And he was in Sydney, and I was like, you know what? If I'm going to give this a shot, I'm going to give it my full shot. I'm going to move to Sydney. So I moved to the Northern Beaches, saw him, and I just said, I'm committed. You got a year of my time. And surely enough, I went to Chile a couple of weeks later, and I got out of pain. So it was the first time I'd been out of pain in 2 years. Easy to talk about now. At the time, it was some really heavy pain, like not sleeping.
It was 2 weeks after you went to see him, or a year?
Yeah, 2 weeks after.
A year and 2 weeks? No, a year.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I was like, holy shit, this stuff is amazing. I knew it was working. I was like, it was an energy thing. It was like, oh my God, it's getting better. So I started stretching. I stretched for the first 6 weeks. That was it. And then I saw Donald again in 6 weeks, and he readjusted my pelvis, and he showed me. He's like, "Oh, look, your weight shift's gone. Oh, look, your pelvis is balanced now. Let's get into some strength work." Started deadlifting, started doing some other stuff, all phase 1 exercises, then into some strength work. He was just really good at what he did. And then I was like, "Oh my God, I'm out of pain." And then I was like, "Holy shit, I feel fucking great. I feel strong, and I feel like invincible." So my surfing got a lot better.
Yeah, right.
And you know, when you start working on the body, the spiritual, mental, emotional stuff starts to pop up. So I thought, I'm going to study this stuff, because I can't believe how easy that was and how it worked and how just much sense it made to me. So I went to HLC 1 and this was around 22. Got really into it. Started just listening to Paul Chek, like lecture after lecture after lecture. Like I went through his whole better butt, better back system. I went through his whole polishing the mirror system. I went through, he probably had 10 different DVD sets. I went through all of them. And this was before I even started studying the stuff. So I just wanted to know more and more and more. And I just started thinking, wow, this is just crazy. And I just put my like heart and soul into it back then, purely for the physical side of it. So I was like, I want to get strong. And then I started getting egotistical with it. I want to have a good body. I want to look good, all that kind of crap. And then I felt like I had a calling to something bigger in life, and my heart was calling me to something like, I didn't know what it was, but it wasn't bodyboarding. And when you're getting paid like close to $80,000 a year to do what you love and travel the world, everyone tells you how good your life is, but of course you're not feeling, you know, like the soul isn't satiated by anything other than itself. So money's not going to make the soul feel great. So I was getting money, I was traveling, people were telling me I was the man, even though I didn't feel it. And it just led to this kind of like dark hole of like, what is my purpose here? You know?
Yeah.
Big thing I forgot to mention is like my mum died when I was 18. Yeah. So amongst all this stuff, I had some massive safety, security, abandonment issues in that first chakra. So not only was I hyperextending my back physically through bodyboarding, but I was abandoning all of my mental, emotional stuff in the first chakra. So base security, tribal association. I had no friends. I had a few big things in that first chakra that I needed to sort out, which I buried. And I also buried mum's death. So then I, feeling a bigger calling in the world, understanding that bodyboarding wasn't for me, and I knew that deep down. So, when your body says no and you feel that real like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. Yeah. So I wasn't dealing with that. Then mum died. Mum died when I was 18. And then I bottled it up until I was like 21 and it all exploded. So
what did that look like?
Well, it looked like I moved to Perth when mum died. So probably like a week after, and I said, fuck it, I got to get out of here. So I ran and moved to Perth, and I was living in a house with a friend, and he went away to Peru or Chile for like 4 weeks, and I stayed at home. And I was watching The Bone Collector one night, like, that movie, The Bone Collector? And funny enough, there was a girl in a hospital bed, which is Angelina, what's her name?
Angelina Jolie.
Angelina Jolie, Anthelina Jolie. Yeah, and it just like, I had this thought of like, that could be me, or I'm going to die of cancer. I think that was maybe the thought. And my whole body shot into an outer body experience. So I actually left my body and was looking down on my body. And my whole heart was beating at 100 miles an hour, and it was like I was being chased by a lion, which is like a panic attack, right? Anxiety, but just like I'd bottled so much stuff up for so long that it just exploded, right? So I felt really, really scared. I started walking the block of like where I was in Woodlands in Perth, and I walked for ages, and then I rang a friend and I said, you've got to take me to hospital. Like, I'm having a mental breakdown and I've got cancer. I'm going to die. I fully thought I was going to die, like the rationale in my thought had gone.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so, and I had ball pain at the time too. So there was some stuff going on, like testicular pain, so I thought I was going to die. So it wasn't until my mate picked me up and I went to the emergency ward, he said, I got to the emergency ward and they're like, why are you here? And I was like, I'm dying. And they were like, well, why? And then some common sense started to come back into my thought rationale.
Yeah, right.
But I was having a full mental breakdown.
How crazy is your mind can be
Yeah.
use for good or evil. Like you can just convince yourself you're going to die.
Totally. Fuck, it's no different to psychedelics or like really intense psychosis, right? We're taught that we're crazy if we speak to ourselves, but it's just our mind, eh?
Yeah, literally. Yeah. So would you relate that to some kind of depression or?
Yeah, it was all depression. So basically with not allowing things to come up, we bottle it up and it has to go somewhere. I think it had tried to come out through an injury. I think it had tried to come out through, injuries and bottling it up, but then it came out through a mental problem. So anxiety, depression, things like that. And I was having depression badly. Like I was really, really depressed. Like there was a few times where I had like suicidal thoughts and I was like, okay, I still understood that I wasn't going to kill myself. And I didn't tell anyone because I wasn't going to be like, I'm having suicidal thoughts. But I was like, fuck, is there much more here? So I think I had the thought like, okay, that I'm getting to that point now. I need to see someone. So I went and saw a psychologist in Perth and it was expensive and it was bullshit. It was crap. I think I took one thing away from it, which was a breathing pattern to help anxiety, which didn't really help. But what really helped was I got led to a book. I don't even know how I got led to it, honestly, but I flew up to Bali to get away from Perth for a bit because it was raining and it was like the wet season. And I was reading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Kind of started my journey.
For sure. It was such an incredible experience. I think they call it a Santori when you have your first moment of enlightenment, where you feel like this joy that it's just overwhelming. So that was my first. I was reading this thing and I remember it was like something about not being your thoughts. And I was like, oh, okay, well, if I'm not my thoughts, then what am I? And I had that same shooting feeling, but in a good way. It was like, holy fuck, I've just had a Centauri. It's your first thing of enlightenment. It's your first bit of like, whoa, there's something different, you know? And I felt so invigorated and so happy. I was like, I remember thinking straight after that, I'm never going to be unhappy again.
Was the experience was it like a no mind sort of?
Yes, it was euphoric. Presence. It was euphoric and I was just staring out the window of the plane just going, holy fuck, like everything was vibrant and everything was just like, yeah, there was something bigger that I'd experienced and it lasted for a couple of weeks actually. And I just had the best time of my life. But then it all come crashing back down a little bit more. But that was my first initial awakening. And that made me look into a lot of different stuff. Yeah. And then led me to Jan on the Gold Coast, actually.
Yeah, right. Before we go into that, so you went, I've never been seen a psychologist, but I'm sure they're good for some people. But what was your takeaway? Like, why were you so against it?
I think there's good and bad in everything.
Yeah.
And I think when we're taught to be a psychologist, I think we haven't gone through it ourselves. Like I remember asking this woman, I said, hey, have you had anxiety or panic before, panic disorder? And she's like, no, but I understand it. And I just thought to myself, you don't understand it. You know, I felt that she didn't understand it because she didn't understand how much fucking terror and panic I had. Like I remember I rang her one morning at 3 a.m. because there was crazy shit happening to me. It sounded like someone had slammed a door in my face. Like in the middle of the night, 3 a.m. and you wake up to a door slamming in your head, but the door's closed. So I don't know what the fuck that was. And I was panicked, freaking out. So I called her and she was just like so off it that I called her, which fair enough, 3 a.m. But I had no one else to turn to.
Yeah, right.
And she just didn't quite understand panic disorder. But she also didn't understand that it's energy. She didn't understand the metaphysical side of like bottling energy up in the body. It has to go somewhere. And the mind is a crazy thing. So,
interesting.
Yeah. I'm not against, there's some amazing psychologists. Jordan Peterson, Gabor Mate, Paul Chek. He's not a clinical psychologist, but I would go to him over anyone else in the world. Yeah. But yeah, I think that led me into a deeper thing. So I don't know.
Had its place in some ways.
It had its place, definitely. And as everyone has their own journey to go through, you got to make mistakes and learn through the crap things that you see. So I'd been to through the medical system, a lot of things by then. And I was like, oh my God, it's another one of those things. Why are we being lied to? Why does this shit not work? Because it's a symptomatic approach to the bigger picture. And there's always something underlying.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Do you write much down now?
No.
Did you ever write?
I did. I journaled a lot. I've got a couple of journals full of like psychotic things. Yeah.
Yeah, right. That was during the time.
Yeah.
So it didn't
through the time.
helped or it didn't help?
It did help. It helped a lot. Yeah, it helped because I was writing. But to me, I look back on it now and it just looks like a bird's nest of like wanting to express myself.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Whereas I've got different ways now that I can express myself.
Interesting.
But I think it's great. I think it's great to be able to write it down, and I think it's also great to do the work. So you have to apply Qigong, or you have to apply Tai Chi, or you have to apply meditation. It's a paradox because you've got to meditate using your mind. So you got to use your mind to get free of your mind.
So when did you find meditation?
After Eckhart Tolle. Yeah, so I used it. Active meditation was my first meditation, where I was just sitting there and I'd feel like I do now. Just my arm touching the leather of the seat, or the butt touching the leather of the seat. And also just checking in with your body and how you feel. Like the whole way out here, driving out here, I could feel that I was a bit tense because I had a really busy morning. But I wasn't attached to how tense I felt. I knew there was tension there. Yeah. So just breathing and go, okay, there's tension here. It's like I don't attach myself to it where I used to. So
just observe it.
Observe it, yeah, for sure. So I think being aware of it is what dissolves it.
Totally agree. So you went to the Gold Coast after, was it Kathy, you said?
No, Jan McCartan. So she's an amazing Czech practitioner, but I was going there still kind of for the physical. I wanted to get ripped and I wanted to be jacked and I wanted to be the best athlete I could be. But quickly when I got there and I saw the first time she looked into my soul, she could feel how needy of love I was. Yeah, right. And she could also feel, she just saw me for who I really was, and it was the most intimidating fucking thing ever. When you meet your guru, and I think everyone will at some stage in their life, you'll feel so childish or so small that you feel like you can't hide. And that was my first experience of that, was with Jan. So I was like, it just brought up so much insecurity. I was doing a workout and she just gave me no time, and I was like, she wasn't going to cater to my neediness. Yeah. And that's a big thing because I was very needy of love. I just lost my mother, so I was looking for a mother. So I think she could see and feel my energy. So it was cool. But anyway, kind of hung around her a little bit, then went away and then did a traineeship with her. And the traineeship was when we really connected and really got to move through a lot of the stuff I hadn't healed from with Mum's death.
So her not giving you the like neediness, responding to it, reacting to it, what do you think she was doing?
I think that she just does it. You know, I think we all think our gurus have messages for us, but it was just a message that it was almost like it was inside me.
Subliminal.
It was a subliminal message. Yeah. Like she was just being her, and that was enough for me to realize that I had a lot of shit to deal with. And I don't know, I had it with Paul Check too, you know, a year or two later when I did HLC2 with him. It's just like they look at you and they're like it's almost an energy field that feels like it's downloading your whole soul. It's pretty trippy, yeah. And I know through books I've read with Ram Dass and stuff, he's had the same thing with Maharaji and his guru and people like that.
Yeah, right. Interesting.
So I think there's a couple of hundred souls on this earth that are enlightened. And they're not going to put up with the mind. They're not going to put up with your neediness. They're not going to put up. So I think there is a few out there.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. So where were we?
We were seeing Jan. Yeah, so saw Jan, did a traineeship with Jan for, it was supposed to be a year, and it took about 2 years. In that time, I broke my leg really badly at a trampoline place on the Gold Coast and shattered my fibula and compound fractured my tibia. So bone went through the trampoline skin. And so I understand what post-traumatic stress syndrome is now, because I fucking have it. Because whenever I talk about it, it's like my nervous system starts to pull and go tight again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like we were doing something on the weekend with, Dwyer, and he was showing a high jump thing, and I could see the leg jumping over, and I was just like, it was just like, I felt like I was going to fucking explode. Yeah, it was crazy. But I'll talk about that in a second. Shattered my leg really badly. Anyway, when I broke my leg, Nick Perry was there, who's a good friend of mine, who's very, very much into spirituality, and he ran one way and everyone ran the other way. He ran toward me and he just goes, breathe. He goes, look at me, breathe through your nose. And I was going into shock. So I started going into shock, and then I made eye contact with him, and he was right there by my side like an angel and said, breathe through your nose. So I breathed through my nose, and I was like, I know what this is about. That's the first word I said. So yeah, it was trippy, man. Also, my ex-girlfriend called me at that exact moment, which was bizarre. So I had my phone there. Nick had my phone, and I could just remember seeing my girlfriend call me, and then I go, oh, I know what this is about. But anyway.
What did you mean? Well, you don't know.
I do know now. What it was is like bodyboarding was done. And it was done when I was 19. My heart wanted me to go into the healing side of things, or even just something deeper. And I wasn't listening. So the universe gave me a big wake-up call.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't listening. I didn't want to jump into something scary. And it was fucking scary. Especially when everyone's telling you got a really good life and you're doing this and you're doing that great and blah, blah, blah. It's all bullshit. But anyway, sitting there with a broken leg, and they said, we're going to have to get the other ambulance here because it's that bad. We need to splint it here. And also, like, you're going to need drugs. And I was like, I don't want any drugs. I want to feel this pain. And they're like, you're going to need drugs. Like, we're putting the bone back in the skin here. Like, we need you to have drugs. And I said, okay, I'll have the green whistle. And then I had the green whistle, and they're like, you're going to need morphine. I was like, fucking bring on the morphine. Like, by that time, I was just off my head. And I was having a great time, like, once that happened, because I knew what it was about, and I knew that I was having a massive growth in life. Instantly, I had the Buddha come to me, and I said, I know what this is about, and I had him come to me, and it was, accept this right here, right now, for what it is. Straight away, I accepted it. And that was a quote that I knew was going to hit me. I learnt that earlier in life, and I knew it was for that moment. So I accepted it straight away. I knew that my leg was broken, and there was going to be a massive spiritual adjustment here, and life was going to get better. It was weird. It's like, it's the worst thing ever, but it's also the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, still to this day. Yep. Then I was all, spiritual, blah, 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 feeling really good about it. So I hopped in the ambulance, and I was giving everyone a thumbs up and that. And I got back to the hospital, and they're like, oh, we're going to have to give you ketamine. And any psychedelics for me really scared me because I had a really bad experience smoking weed for the first time. So they gave me ketamine. And I went off into a spirit realm, and it was geometry, but it was black and white geometry, and it was shapes and things like that. And then I had gone there for a reason, because two spirits came to me in they had made them. I don't know where I was, right? I have no idea. It's hard to put into words, but I was in geometry, and two spirits came to see me, and they were side by side, and then geometry in the middle, and then geometry on the outside, and then it was just shoulders and heads. And it's like these two spirits had came to me and were shoulders and heads to make me feel comfortable there, and just said, welcome, you've begun your spiritual journey. And it was like, I still remember it really clearly.
Right.
And then I came back to, and I remember there was two surgeons holding my leg, and two surgeons pulling on the bottom of my leg trying to snap it back into place. And I screamed in heaps of pain, and they put more ketamine into me, and then I went back into that realm, and it was just bliss. It was just like the best thing ever, and I was crying in joy.
To the angels, or
no, to Nick.
Just, yeah.
Nick was there the whole time, and he reckons I was saying a lot of stuff to a lot of wise stuff that wasn't me to the surgeon, who in my head now, so apparently he's a young guy, but in my head he was old with a beard and grey long hair, and there was no one there like that. But he reckons I kept saying to him, I know who you are now, something like that. And I also told the guy who I thought was the old man that he needs to be more present with his family and some weird stuff like that. But I don't remember this, is what Nick told me.
Yeah. So that experience, just quickly on the smoking weed for the first time.
Yeah.
Do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, well, I smoked weed. I was at a party, and I was always brought up to believe weed was really bad. So I was like, of course, when you think things are bad, you want to try them. So I tried weed, and I think I smoked like 6 cannies because I couldn't feel anything. And then it all just hit me, and I became a paranoid, horny, weirded out, stressed fucking mess, dude. Like, I just was so afraid, and I was up till like 2 a.m. I couldn't piss. It stopped me from peeing, and I just had a crazy bad psychotic experience. Panic attack.
Yeah, right. Was it what age?
Probably like 13.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, just too young. And I've tried to overcome it a few times. Like, I've probably smoked like 10 or 20 times since then. And I had one good experience out of that whole 20 times. The other times it's been really like, it jacks my nervous system up, and I just feel like I go into a time warp. Yeah, it's not a good experience for me. And even with the feeling of calmness I have now deep down, it still does it to me.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I look at marijuana like a teacher, and I think that it's showing me that there's still a lot of stuff that I've got to bring up.
Yeah.
But like Ram Dass says, it's like that's the children's way of doing it. You know, meditation is the going deep into the deep rooted cause is where it's at. I mean, psychedelics will show you God, but to stay with God, you've got to be able to do Tai Chi. You've got to be able to do the work.
Yeah. I agree.
So, I don't know.
It's kind of, it's probably a good gateway for some people. I mean, it might have even started my journey, I guess.
For sure.
Like in that finding meditation, like there's more to the mind.
Definitely. I reckon that's cool, and I reckon it's cool when people do it. I fully back it. You know, if you want to smoke weed or you want to do psychedelics to bring you to that journey, that's your journey, and that's awesome, and I love that. Like, I totally respect it, and you know, I put Paul Chek up on a pedestal because he's such a medicine man. I would love to talk to him about why I feel so afraid, and I feel so scared of doing that, and why I can't just let go of control, because I don't know why I can't let go of control, but that's my journey. And I'm enjoying it, and I've done a lot of work on that.
Are you, like, we're almost at Corrective Culture, so are you noticing anything control-wise there, like from that, in like the non-high life?
Not really, not so much. Definitely my thing lately is letting go and being open and crying, and you know, letting my clients open up around me and being there for them, and you know, everyone's got individual needs, and anything other than being completely who you are on that day is kind of robbing the experience. So sometimes it'll be an emotional session, or it'll be really physical because the guy wants to be physical, but I can see through that quite a bit now. Whereas the physical is just showing us where the mental emotional needs work.
Yeah.
However, they both, you know, you can't touch one tip of the spider web without affecting the whole lot.
Yeah.
So whatever work we do on the physical is going to affect the mental emotional as well. So you can go at it with either way. But yeah, on the controlling side of things, no, not so much, because I'm aware that I am a controlling person. But what is control? Like, we're going to die one day. So if I'm trying, what am I trying to control? You know what I mean? So I'm constantly letting go of control, but it is my inner work that I feel like that's my work here. To let go of control, and even to the point, like, I used to be very jealous, but what is jealousy? Jealousy is like, pops its head up and it's like, okay, look what that is. I feel jealous because that person could take my girlfriend away from me. So what does that say about me? It says that I don't feel good enough that she's going to stick around. Yeah. And that's a big one. For me, it was huge to overcome that. And it pops its head up a little bit, but I kind of just know that it's just like, I don't attach to it anymore. It's just like, oh, there it is again. Haha. Next thing, you know, I don't let it take me for a ride anymore as I used to.
So you listen to a bit of Alan Watts, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Alan,
massive.
He used to say, to give away the control, then you've got it.
Yeah. So giving up the control, you have the control you want. Yeah. So it's like, that's why we made that tea. What a paradox. Give it up to have it all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because, giving up control. You have the control you want. It's pretty much as simple as that. Like, if I was to give up control of wanting to, control how the outcome of corrective culture, it's so hard to do, right? Like, a good example would be like 1 month you've got no money and you're down to your last $500 and you got rent to pay this week. And you start to go frantically looking for jobs and doing all sorts of stuff and carrying on like it's a big weight on your shoulders. What would happen if you just said, I trust in the universe, it's going to be all right? I guarantee you it'll be all right.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's like, it's happened to me almost a laughable amount because there has been times when when I left bodyboarding, I had $75 a week to live off. And it was my rite of passage to trust in the universe. However, you've got to be doing the right thing by the universe, which is doing something that's helping people. Or Arnold Payton says that you've got to merge your life's work with the universe's goal of bringing the consciousness up. When you do that, and I can speak from, if that's what I'm doing, you feel a connection in your heart and in your soul that you will never feel working for somebody else's dream. So it's just so important, I reckon, to do that in life.
Even a dream that doesn't really have a purpose, or like you don't know where you're going. You're kind of just a moving part. Yeah,
exactly. So I think if you can find your purpose and why you're here that aligns with the universe's goal of raising the consciousness or helping people, you feel fulfilled in your job.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then it's not about the money you're earning.
No. And then the money comes. And then it's like, what do I do with the money? The universe isn't going to give you a lot of money unless you got something good to do with it. That's what I believe anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, who knows? There's people with billions of dollars out there doing bad things. So.
Yeah, but they probably just keep, they've got a plan for it, whether it's good or bad. They're attracting it. Yeah. Well,
it's like the soul is insatiated from money. So why are we here? Why are you here? If you're not going to feel fulfilled about having $1 billion, I gave you $1 billion right now, so what? You're going to die and you're going to leave it. So you can't control that. So what good is it to you? So why are you here? Yeah, people connect so much to their story about my past or my future, but it's like, why are you here? It's such a big one, man. All my clients, they need to know why they're here. What is your dream? It's just proven with allostatic load. Like, if your physiological load will be a lot lower if you have a reason why to go on.
Why you get up in the morning?
Yeah, exactly.
So what's yours?
My reason to get up in the morning, or my goal?
Oh, let's go get up in the morning first. Same thing.
Okay, yeah. Would be, man, I don't know. I fucking love my life, eh?
Yeah.
My bigger picture, right? My goal is to be 80 and giving back to people my age right now. And because I just light up, man, when my heart just fucking lights up when I can help people. And
you're doing that now, though.
Yeah, definitely. I know, but my bigger picture is to be a Gabor Mate, a Paul Chek, to be someone that fucking helps the world. My legacy, why I'm here, is to help the world. And not in an egotistical way. I don't even really want, even talking sometimes, it's just like verbal diarrhea. It's like, it is like, I really do feel in my heart that I am here to help people. And already I've had 80 clients, and I'd say I've had 60 happy people that I've changed their life. And that, to me, my life's purpose is done. So already I've done what I'm here for. So it feels good, you know what I mean? Gaining knowledge is power for me, because I want to use that knowledge to help people. And I've always known that from a kid. I knew that one day things were going to be different, and I was going to be in a teaching role where I could help people. And even now, I still feel later in life that there will be a lot more that will come from this, and it'll be a lot bigger than I think it's going to be. So that's what I feel. Yeah. And I guess I'm en route to that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So how did you and Callan start Corrective Culture? Like, where did you?
So
grow up with
jiu-jitsu. No, I didn't grow up with Callan at all. I didn't even know him, which is weird because we're from the coast. So like I hadn't even heard of him. Should have heard of him. But different friend groups and stuff like that. But I was in WA and I shared something on Paul Check, and I was already well into it by then. I think it would have been like, maybe I was like 25, so he would have been pretty young. Yeah, like he's 3 years younger than me or something. Yeah, so and then he reached out and he said, oh, that was sick. Or I think that's how it goes anyway. Or I did a jiu-jitsu session with him on the coast, and I was like, oh, this is a cool guy. And then he got more and more into Czech, and when I came over, he was just hitting me up so much about it. Like, he's just like, if anyone who knows Callan, his mind goes a million miles an hour, and he's just like he learns at a rapid pace. So he just went head on into it, like did HLC 1, 2, and then just did IMS 1 and 2, like just off the bat, like in like a year and a half or 2 years. Cool. Yeah, he got really smart really quick, and just like, you know, starting applying it. But hey, I was the teacher at the start, right? And then I saw him and how good he was doing straight away when he started it. I had already taken probably 10 or 20 clients, but I never really liked it because I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to go fully into it. I didn't love myself enough. I didn't believe in myself that I could make a living from it. And then Callan comes along, probably, I don't know, like I don't think he knew as much as I did back then. And then he just goes boom, and he's getting all these clients. And I was like, holy shit, like, wow, I thought I was the teacher. And then he was the teacher, and then, you know, now he's just a fucking book of knowledge. But it was cool like we just helped each other, man. It was just so meant to be. And then I started taking clients probably like 4 to 6 months after him, and I was like, still, I'll take 4 clients, I've got this film thing going on, and that's going to be cool, and blah blah blah. But in my heart it was like, filming's cool, but is it really is it really something you want to do forever? And now I do know that it is something I want to do forever, but not as intensely. And it's an art. It's a creative side that you can't put a time on, and you got to do that.
You're also merging it with Corrective Culture, like the videos. Yeah,
exactly. It helps one another. But yeah, so me and Callan started hanging out a bit, and then just kind of like came about, like kept knocking at my door, like the Corrective Culture thing. We wanted to start something together, and I had no idea that it would take off like it did. So it's just like taken off really organically and really easy. There's been nothing in my life ever that has been so easy. So it just started getting followers, and we started getting traction, then we started getting more clients. Then we met hanging out with people like you, hanging out with lots of different people that are really doing cool shit. And it really opened up my eyes to see how many cool people there are on the coast doing amazing things to help people. And it's made me grow as a human so much. Yeah, so I'm so grateful for Callan. And so grateful for Corrective Culture, because it's just been fucking awesome.
You guys help people so much. I mean, I've still got to finish with you. But
yeah,
like,
for sure. We need to talk about that.
But it's just like, 2 weeks you notice, or the first week you notice it.
Yeah,
so
for sure,
obviously,
man,
then I go see someone that's in pain, and it's like, oh, go see Jake, go see Callan.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's it, eh? Like we really, like, I know it's money. It's money. It's $1,500 to come and see us for 10 hours. So it's not cheap. But we value that because I feel like I'm going to give that person enough tools for the rest of their life to look after themselves. And that's what I have now. I have no pain in my body. I had left knee pain for the last 6 months, and I really enjoyed that because I was like, yes, I can't wait to figure this out. And then I figured it out on the weekend. So goddamn easy.
What was it?
It was just Ian O'Dwyer's work with some deep tissue work. So lateral hamstring, peroneals in the calf, opposite side foot, deep, just frontal line stuff, Tom Myers' work. But also Ian O'Dwyer helped me massively with that Phil Sommer. So
that's the shirt you're wearing?
Yeah, that's the shirt I'm wearing. Yeah. But he's absolutely amazing. So we're doing a mentorship with him and Donald Carr. Yeah, cool. So we've had so many great mentors. You know, that's another thing that's come really easy is like Donald moved up here from Sydney. Now we're doing a mentorship with him. Mind you, he's the guy that got me out of all my back pain and taught me the most about Czech early on. He also introduced me to Paul, and I did HLC2 with Paul. So he's just like an awesome mentor. And now he introduces us to Ian O'Dwyer, Phil Sommer, and he's fucking introducing us to people in the States that are just cool. Like we had like Rodney Korn on, he's like the head guy of Alico Sport over there, and he's just so much knowledge. Like these guys are like, you know, at the very forefront of the health industry in America and Australia.
What's certified health nut? Is he up there?
Oh yeah, I don't think he studied heaps of Paul's work.
Oh, you didn't?
I don't know, like, whatever he does, I love it. Because for me, he teaches me to be open. He teaches me that it's okay to dress up like a fucking dickhead and dance around on camera. Because why the fuck not?
Yeah.
Like, people, your family, they're going to judge you and think you're crazy. Fuck them.
They do it anyway.
It's like, like your friends and family, they're so loving, but they don't sometimes want to see you move outside of your box. So Certified Health Nut, whenever I watch his stuff, I'm like, hell yeah, I can do whatever I want to do or be whatever I want to be, because why the fuck not? Yeah. So I love watching his stuff, and his breathing stuff's amazing.
Yeah, it's good.
But I would, see, that's for our podcast, man. I'd love to get him on. I'd love to get Paul on. Like, we'll get you on, and who else was I saying the other day? I want to get that Trav as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there's just, the amazing people you meet in this industry. And they're all on, like, that same level of, like, asking bigger questions.
Yeah.
Like, don't want to go into COVID, but if the vaccine ain't working, why are you getting it? Just ask a few bigger questions in life, and that's all you can really ask for, right?
Yeah, sure. This journal here, which I touched on a little bit before, because you're going to be in it with your meditations.
Yeah.
But I just kind of want to touch on, like, you've had a little flick through. What do you see if you were in your kind of dark stage, you had something like this? What do you think?
It'd be so helpful. Be so helpful, because I think of, like, this is like a mind map. So if you're listening to this, I'll just give you a quick thing to do, because you'll be fucking so surprised how good this works. You got a mind map. You draw a circle in the middle of the page and you put you. And then you say, okay, what's going on in my life right now? I'm working. That goes off to one branch. Put a circle around that. You go off to the other branch. You put a circle around. Okay, I've got anxiety at the moment. Go off again. Oh, yeah, I've got sports here. Got this. And then you start to filter out all these little things that are going on in your life. And then start to branch out from those single ones. Like, okay, anxiety. Why do I have anxiety? Okay, my mum's got me, wants money from me. My friends aren't really giving me much attention. My girlfriend's this. My dog's this. My fucking whatever. So just spend 20 minutes and mind map the shit out of it, and then look back at your mind and go, holy fuck. And I'm trying to fucking be clear about what I want in life.
Yeah.
I can't, because my mind is so fucking cluttered with all this shit. So that's what that's good for. It's good to get it out and go, okay, it's like there it is.
Yeah.
That's what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, how am I supposed to think clearly if I've got 400,000 things just attacking me day after day? And it's like they're not at the frontal lobe yet. They're deep. They're deep. They're not out yet. Yeah. No wonder we have mental breakdowns. No wonder our bodies hurt.
Yeah. I will agree with that, especially, I got a lot on, but if I just get, like, the 3 to 5 things done, the main crucial things, like, I just put it all down, like, just, like you said before, diarrhea on the page, and then just, like, exactly. pick the main ones. Yeah. Like, I'll be grateful if these get done. Like, I'll be happy if they get done. So tick them off next day, next week, bang.
Exactly.
And then most of it, you find, just kind of either gets done itself somehow, or it never needed to be done anyway.
Exactly. Well, and also align it with your core values. Like, why align it with your bigger dream? Like, why are you here? If you're here to help people and your legacy is to leave behind a legacy of, like, changing the world, do you think that PlayStation needs to go, or do you think that there's some things that you need to, like, keep a cap on? It really puts things in perspective, and writing it down in the journal, you can see where your energy is going. Because, like a magnifying glass, your energy goes into the magnifying glass and then pinpoints on one thing. So you need to focus. Yeah.
Everyone, there's going to be daily meditations in here, which you can you'll be able to have access to. Jake's going to be doing a bunch of them. He's got his favorite one, which is the spirit animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually from a lovely guy called Bobby Running Fox. He wouldn't even know. He'd probably be angry at me. But he gave me this meditation a long time ago when I was doing that mentorship with Jan.
Yeah, right.
The animal spirit guide, and it's such a good one.
I'm sure he'd be happy you're passing it on.
Well, yeah, I hope so. I went and did a sweat lodge with him a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
On the Gold Coast with Callan, and that was just amazing. But yeah, I didn't mention that I'd been teaching his meditation, Native American meditation. But hey, that's the thing too. It's like, I see all these masters and gurus. If they're upset about things like that, are they really for the better good of the world?
Yeah.
So I like to teach what I feel like I want to teach.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of the meditations I'll be doing are just kind of obviously they're just a mix. They've got to be a mixture of all that I know, because otherwise how could I create it?
Exactly.
So
and like
coming from Alan Watts, Sam Harris, Vipassana.
Yeah. And that you've done it because you've done the work, right? And that's it. I've done the work too. And sometimes you'll do it and just things just come up.
Yeah.
And they do. And that's when you're in a flow state. And that's when I feel like life gets exciting.
Yeah. When
you're just listening to your heart and your body lights up and going that way. Yeah.
How do you define, I think I asked this last week, intuition versus kind of, I don't know, thought. How do you tell the difference, before you're going to make a decision? Yeah,
that's an easy one, because intuition, you feel it in your whole body. Thought, you feel it in your head. So you'll usually, what Bobby Running Fort's taught me is you'll usually have a really clear signal, and intuition only comes once. It doesn't come twice. Yeah, right. So you get a clear signal, go this way, then your mind goes, but maybe what about this? So you're going the wrong way. Don't overthink it. Usually, the greatest athletes in the world act on intuition. I'm laughing because I know who's going to be listening to this thinking, oh. Yeah, it's crazy, man. And it's awesome because I was the king of that, right? My heart wants me to go this way, but my brain's going, yeah, but it's pretty good here. It's pretty comfy, man. Chill out, kick the feet up a little longer. The universe ain't going to do nothing about it. And then bang, snap your leg. Sometimes I'm kind of, now I think because you get so in tune with just acting on it. It's like, okay, well, that's the way I'm going now. Off I go. Yeah, for sure. But sometimes I'm already there before I realize I've made the decision to have time to overthink it. And then I start going, once it snowballs, you're fucked. Would have been kind of, yeah. Once you snowball, and I've been in some bad snowball ones where your thoughts are just fucking going a million mile an hour. It's almost like you need to give it 24 hours just to calm down, because otherwise you won't be able to make a clear decision. I haven't actually worked that out yet, because sometimes I get so embroiled, it'll be a thought that's just got me. It just gets you. And then you go, it got me. Fuck. Okay, let it go. And then all of a sudden it starts to snowball. And then by that night, you're fucking so anxious. And you got to say, when you figure that one out, please let me know. Because, the minds are... Go sit down and meditate. Yeah. Well, I can't when it goes too far. Have you ever been so far that it's just like, fuck, you just cannot slow down? I've tried to go and do Tai Chi or something, and my mind's just too active. I don't know, Vipassana kind of, I guess, taught me that, to just keep going back to the breath, keep going back to the breath, keep going back to the breath. Because for sure. You're always, even when you're there, it's like you think by day 8 you're not thinking, but you've still got thoughts coming up. For sure. I haven't done one of them yet, but it's such a big extreme thing to do, which is cool. Yeah, I think you'd love it. I would love it. I know there's a lot of stuff I've still got to work on. As do we all, and that's I'm not a cooked chook, and I never will be. But I'm enjoying the journey, and I just hope I can empower other people to enjoy their journey as well. Before we wrap it up, I want to hear where you see or where you're manifesting Corrective Culture to be in 5 years, 3-5 years. What's the bigger picture? What did Callan say? Nah. So did he tell you that I asked that? No. Yeah. In 5 years... It'd be interesting if they line up. Yeah, I see a holistic health centre here on the Sunshine Coast with a great community surrounding us, bringing in international speakers, having guys like Paul Check and big international powerhouse guys that really can reach a lot of people, help us with our podcast by speaking truth on it. I feel like the centre is going to be a subscription-based thing where people can pay $25 a week or whatever with a sauna, ice bath, and just kind, loving people in a community, do jiu-jitsu in there, things like that. And I think we'll probably go pretty online with a lot of things, make a fair bit of money with doing online things, and then reinvesting in our business and helping people. Yeah, cool, awesome. So that's the plan.
Well, it will definitely happen because you're both talking about the same thing.
Yeah, well, I think we're in there. You know, we've got the same core values.
Yep.
He's a fucking amazing guy, man. Like, he is so just calm and collected and so just like never breaks character. Like, you know, like sometimes people aren't authentic. Like, he honestly is who he is.
All the time.
You know, all the time. He fucking is 100 mile an hour all the time.
It's funny. I didn't. I guess I kind of did realize now you say it, but the podcast last week, had to keep pulling him back in.
Yeah,
because
exactly. He's so excited, man.
It's awesome though.
It's sick and it's great because it's like we really balance each other out. Because sometimes I can be too chill. Like I can be too, I don't want to be in the limelight or something like that. And well, I really need to. I really need to. And that's my thing. I want to put my face out there more. I want to be less afraid to show my soft side to men. And I want to be less afraid to open up and just go, this is who the fuck I am. You know, this is it. Warts and all, it's fucking here.
Yeah.
And that's so freeing. Like I feel like if people could do that, it's just like that's the key to life. Like, you know, skinny, fat, whatever. We're all trees. Yeah. Just fucking, you are who you are and just own that shit.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but if you ever see someone I've seen people that I've gone, oh, physically they're not that attractive. But fuck, I'm attracted to that person.
Yeah, right.
Because their soul is so vibrant or they're just so like...
Yeah, actually. There was a lady in the class on the weekend, actually,
cool.
Pottery.
Yeah, awesome. And that's like, you know, it's just, we think we talk through looks. We don't. We talk through energy. We know, we download straight away whether we're going to be talking to that person or not.
Sophie said to me before this podcast, I think because she's been trying to get me on like the face of the studio for probably 2-3 years.
Yeah.
I keep saying no, but probably because I think, I don't know why I kept saying no, because then she goes, like, how do you feel about it? Like, I don't actually think I'm thinking about it. Like, I'm just doing it. I'm just doing it. Now I'm going to be on the camera.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I've kind of not resented it or just decided it's not time, but maybe now it's time.
You'll be ready when you're ready.
That's right.
Jen would always say that to me. You'll be ready. Oh, he'll be ready. She'd almost laugh about it because like I wasn't teaching people when I was with her, and everyone's like, "Why aren't you?" Because you'd be good, and I didn't believe in myself. And she was like, yeah, Jake, he'll be ready when he's ready." And it's true. So you know, you love yourself enough. Eventually, you'll go, "Fuck, I am good enough to do this." And the sky's the limit. It's like your path isn't written, so this could go anywhere. And
it's just also like, what have we got to lose? Like, if someone doesn't want to listen to this podcast, so just turn it off. Like, nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah, there's nothing to be afraid of, but it should be more about, you know, what have you got to win?
Yeah, exactly. Literally.
Yeah, you got everything to win, and like, man, it's just like one thing's blown my mind is the universe can just come at you in so many different ways. You know, failures are great. So
I'm super excited to share these, like, especially yours and, well, actually all three of them, like, you've come into things like, well, yours, I guess, isn't really comparable, but everyone's kind of gone down and come back up brought into business, channeled that energy, learning how to kind of be a master of their emotions. And,
for sure. How good is that? Yeah, more conscious people. And
what's good is, like, I want people who are kind of second guessing, like, oh, should I go and do that? It's going to be, you know, 8 years before I'm, I don't know, qualified or whatever, or am I going to be good enough? It's like, well, you guys are all proof that you can just decide you're going to do something. Yeah. And then you just go and do it. Like, I didn't know how to do pottery. Yeah,
fully. Yeah, how good's that? Yeah, and you can do that with little
didn't know how to build buildings.
Yeah.
It's like you just learn as you go.
It's crazy, man. Once you realise that everything is being done by people that aren't that's much smarter than you.
Yeah, literally.
You can really start to, like, gain some momentum in this world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at. It's like I didn't know how to shoot films, and I'm still not great at it, but I know what to do basically. And you know, I did it, and I've done it, and I'm still doing it.
Jake shot the first video, I think, at the Pottery studio when we were just about to take off.
And I still love that. I still love that video. That's one of my favourites. I would shoot it differently now, but I still love it, you know. And that's cool. Like, it's a learning. You got to fail.
I think you kind of started that similar time.
I did. Yeah.
I remember talking to you about it.
Yeah, for sure. And you just undervalue yourself so much. But yeah, it's cool, and it's a learning curve. And yeah, my advice to anyone is just like, I often hear it with my clients. They're just like, oh, I just fucking hate my job. I'm like, why are you doing it? Like, you could die tomorrow. Like, why are you still doing that? But I also understand, because it took me 6 years to fucking wake up, you know, jump off the cliff to swim in the vast ocean of potential. But jumping off the cliff sometimes takes years, months, years, but it's scary. It's always going to be scary every single time. You don't just jump off the cliff one day and it's done forever. You jump off the cliff every single day in one aspect or another. Coming and doing a podcast, scary. Jump off the cliff. Fuck, you know, do something different. Brush your teeth with the opposite hand.
Love doing that.
Yeah, it's just like more of the same equals more of the same.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool, thanks for having me on, man.
Awesome.
How long was that?
Don't know, Sophie will tell us so.